The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Bermuda's Feel Good Early Morning Show. Good day, Bermuda, supported by Pete's House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert, and we want to thank you for getting up bright and early with us on this Tuesday morning. Jackie, it is the last day of November. How are you feeling? How was your November overall? Did you have a great month?
I did, and I'm excited for December.
Of course you are, because you like all things Christmas.
Well, I went upstairs after the show yesterday, and my dad's just like, all right, so team meeting. I'm like, yes, I like a little team meeting. Not really, but yes. And he's just like, all right, so I'm looking at the calendar, and I'm thinking we can have this family up, you know, part of our family up for Christmas. And I was just like, you mean like our luncheons? We can have a luncheon? He's just like, yeah, but we're going to keep it small. And I'm like, oh, this is even better. That means, it's more intimate. More talking, more stories versus everybody fighting for the mic. Plus more food.
And who doesn't love more food like Jackie?
I know. So I'm like, hopefully everything stays calm because, there's a new variant. I'm like, please don't come. No, don't come.
It's definitely coming. I mean, it's definitely the signs of the time. I think I saw some reports online like the flu has new variants often, so it's kind of like it's not uncommon. It's definitely just the access to information, I think, heightens the fact that there's a new variant out there. But make sure you're.
I'm just more so concerned about the right. Obviously, stay safe, but it's the restrictions, right?
Yeah, so that's why I say stay safe because that can help reduce the restriction.
And I'm like, oh, there goes my lunch.
Well, not really, because I mean, if everyone stays safe and does their part, then we should be good to kind of keep the restrictions at bay at minimum. So that's all good. And as you can see, Jackie and I are ready to bring you some feel good vibes this morning. Miss C, Miss P included. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you share this episode with your circle. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and write a post on your wall. For those of you watching on YouTube, go ahead and drop the link in your favorite WhatsApp group chat. And for those of you on Twitter, go ahead and retweet it. Now, today, our feel good topic, we're going to be continuing a discussion we had. I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but we're talking about the pride we have for our alcohol tolerance. And if you want to test your trivia knowledge against Jackie, stick around for our feel good vibe of the day, which is trivia time with Terry. Now, yesterday, we shared that St. Augustine, Florida is considered the most magical place to spend the holidays, according to Travel Awaits. And according to Jason Shirley, that's actually the oldest town in the U.S. I didn't know that. So learned that fun fact yesterday. But today, we want to know, what are some of your top winter vacation locations? I think we kind of talked about it yesterday, but we didn't really dive deep. Jackie kind of shared her, I don't know if it's your favorite one, Jack, or if it's just the one you happen to go to often during the holidays. New York.
It's not my it's not my favorite, but you know how they say, what's your favorite place? And some people say, I don't have a favorite place, I have favorite people. You ever heard that? So I go where my favorite people are. And it just so happens that my best friend lives in New York.
One of your favorite people is in New York, so New York becomes a favorite place. Do you have any other favorite, or top winter vacation spots?
I enjoyed Canada, and I like a little Florida, to be honest, as well.
What is it about Florida, though? Because, Florida is kind of questionable sometimes.
That's where my tennis academy was located. So it's like you going back to Atlanta. That's where a lot of my becoming happened. So it's, you know, the little taste of home away from home that you go back and visit your friends and stuff that are still in that area. You know, like I said, it's people.
It's definitely people. I'm not gonna lie, like, so looking at the list of places that were great for a top winter vacation. So this article that we found was on CNN, and we will share that to our social media pages so that you can take a look at some of the beautiful places that they had listed. There were a lot of places in the US that were like winter, like snow places. And I get it because, like, you know, that's what you think of when I went to Wonderland. Have you ever been to Colorado before, Jack?
No, I haven't. And I was supposed to go visit one of our friends, our mutual friends. And the variant, like COVID happened, and it kind of canceled those plans for us.
Well, I actually got to visit that mutual friend. I actually went for a conference for work, and I went over to Colorado. And it wasn't during like the winter time. It was cold still. But let me tell you something. The time difference and the elevation, whoa. Like, I didn't really expect to be that hit when I got to Colorado. Like, the time difference, I kind of already knew because, like, you know, I'm used to that part of it. But the elevation, I was just like, the earth's different over her.
I want to go to one of these winter wonderlands because I've only been ice skating. The time that I was in Montreal, we were supposed to go skiing and stuff. We had these snowstorms, so they weren't letting anybody out. So missed that opportunity. So I haven't done
It's okay because look, Jason has a place for you. He says Silver Throne, Colorado. It's a nice small town and it's near the slopes.
Perfect.
I've only been skiing once in my lifetime. So I've also been to Vermont, which is another state that was on the list of places to travel for the winter. And I am not going to lie, skiing is like a top tier activity, even when you can't ski. Like, it's
I want to do snowboarding so badly because I've done wakeboarding here, and one of my friends here is just like, oh yeah, I do skiing. He's a what's the word? Adrenaline junkie. I guess you could say. But he's right there with me. He'll be like, oh Jack, if you love doing this, you love it. So he's got all these lists of things that he wants me to try, and I told him, like, you know, I showed him a video of me wakeboarding. He's just like, oh, well, if you pick that up one time, you can absolutely do snowboarding. It's kind of the same type of vibe. So
it's similar because you just have to stand on the snowboard the same way you wouldn't know. You just have your feet, obviously, in like the little shoes. I'm
kind of fearless when it comes to stuff like that. Like, I like dumb stuff. So I'll be the person I mean, like, I'm supposed to be on the bunny slopes, and I'm over here on the.
Yeah, don't do the black diamonds. Okay, so when I went to Vermont, this was in middle school. So my fear tolerance was not as high as it probably is today, which is kind of backwards. But nonetheless, here we go. We move. And so I didn't do like the black diamond, but a few of my friends did like the black diamond. And when they came back and said like how they got lost and something like that, I was like, no, I would have lost my mind. I would have been so anxious because.
Yeah, I still need a buddy with me because I've seen too many suspense thrillers about like wolves and getting stuck out, and I need to make sure that I make an impression on everybody at the slopes so that if I don't come back, they're like, oh my god, you know, these slopes are close. Has anybody heard Jackie? Yeah. Jack's not back. All right, search party, let's go. We're going now. She has no clue where she is. Let's help her. You know, I need that.
And speaking of what you said yesterday about the whole hand warmers, so that was something that I was like super into when I was in Vermont, was make sure I had like the hand warmers in my gloves when I was on the slopes, because it was just like, it's a different kind of cold. Even though you're bundled up, you have your snow gloves, you have your hats, you have everything, it still was different. So, but I like highly recommend, if you haven't gone skiing before, if you haven't been to like a ski resort, that you absolutely try it, because it was definitely, I would do it again. I'm not sure how it's going to go the second time around because I have the experience of the first time and I'm also older. So it's like, okay, but I loved it.
It's a girls trip in our future.
I see it for us. And so speaking of another place that you wanted to talk about, which you still can't find this picture. So tell the people the story, Jack, of this picture that you're trying to find me and the place that you're trying to show me.
So I'm coming across I'm just surfing Instagram and I'm a serial liker. So that's the crazy part that I can't find it because I went through all my likes that are available, I guess. They erased, I'm not sure. And I saw this beautiful lit up little town and it was just like somewhere in Switzerland. And in my head, I'm like, oh, I absolutely want to go to this place because it kind of looks like it's in, I want to say it's in Canada, Whistler, Canada. I could be wrong. Anyway, it was beautifully lit up, a cute little town, and it just reminded me of those cute little towns that people put together for Christmas in their houses, where it's like cute and lit up and magical, and they had this cute little ice skating. Nativity.
Yes, nativity, like.
Yes.
Yeah, got you.
And so it reminded me of that. And I was just like, wow, this place is beautiful, bucket list. And I thought I saved it to come back to, but it was just so pretty. It was the equivalent of going to a neighborhood in Bermuda that is participating in the
Christmas light competition.
So it's like, say, going into Tuckerstown and it's just all lit up and you're just like, wow. And it's like, it was snow everywhere. And it actually looks so welcoming. I don't really like the cold, but this picture, I was doing marketing, I was just like, I would have booked my ticket tomorrow.
If she could find the place. But
I know, but I can't find the place.
Nonetheless, if you're just joining us, we're talking about top winter vacation locations. And we're actually going to take our first commercial break of the show. Do feel free to drop a comment to let us know where your favorite or your top vacation location, I like that it rhymes, is. And Jacky and I will be back with our feel good topic of the day. We're actually going to be carrying on like a part 2 of a conversation we had previously. So you do not want to go anywhere. Jacky and I will be right back.
Looking for that fine dining experience? Then Aliana's is the place for you. And it's lobster season in Bermuda. So ladies, get your girls together for a ladies' night out. Book a table of 4 and each of you will get a 10% discount on your half or whole lobster main course. Starters not included. This lobster special is on until Saturday, December 18th. Serving dinner from 6 p.m. Thursday through Sundays. And of course, we have all your favorites, complemented with our specialty drinks and wine list, followed by our scrumptious homemade desserts. Aliana's Fine Dining Restaurant, 106 Southside St. David's. Phone 777-0555 for reservations. For those special occasions, there's Aliana's.
Welcome back to this episode of Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza's and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert. And if you're just joining us, we're getting ready to dive into our feel-good topic of the day. We're going to be discussing the pride of alcohol tolerance and our excessive alcohol consumption. And I guess Jacky and I kind of wanted to have this part 2 conversation because we've seen a number of social media videos circulating around like motorists being wide open. And if you don't know what the term wide open means, this is the first time you maybe heard it. It's okay. It basically just means you're like just going full speed ahead. That's kind of how I define it. And just like no holds barred, very fearless, very, I don't know, high risky. I guess that's a term you could use to kind of describe it. I don't know, Jack, how would you describe wide open?
Wide open. I'm getting full hot. I am blacking out. I'm going to see how high my tolerance is. And if I don't remember tomorrow, it's whatever. But I'm getting smashed. Yep. That's basically what I think.
That's it. Smashed. And so, okay, we can just, I guess, frame the conversation around the videos that we saw, Jack. So when you first saw like those social media videos of, the person that was wide open, what was like your initial reaction?
I was just like, wow. I judged. I was just, like, we've all been wide open, but I was a little disappointed that it's talking about the drive-in, right?
Yeah, the drive-in one. Yeah. That's the only one I saw. I haven't seen.
I'm just making sure that we're on the same page. I was a little disappointed. We all had this idea that we're capable of riding or driving home, and like we've all done it. It's not proud moments the next day where you're just like, wow, how did I get home? Wow, like that was so dangerous. Like who let me leave? Somebody that was there had to have seen me. Like, how did they let me go? But we had to be a little bit more responsible and prep. when I say prep, I mean like, all right, I'm going out and I do want to black out. I do want to get full hot. I want to have a great time. And in order for me to have a great time, I have to be drunk, even if I don't remember it. But I want to loosen up and free up and escape. And everybody is privy to that. But we're going to be prepared to have a designated driver that is with us. Mm-hmm. Not just say, oh yeah, I'm going to catch a taxi, because sometimes your drunk self, your alter ego has different plans.
I could
and they're just like, exactly. Like, you know, it's like a drunk person's like a toddler. And how many toddlers want to tie their own shoes because they can, and it takes us 8 hours to get where we're going? Or like, they could open up the door. They could buckle it themselves. Like, they're hard-headed. So you need to have that buddy that's just like, all right, I'm not drinking tonight. You can absolutely go ahead, but I'm driving us home. No ifs, ands, buts about it. And we just need to be a little bit more intentional when we go out about how we're getting home and to do it safely.
So one quick question then. Do you think the pride of alcohol tolerance is killing our community? And I want to get the audience involved. So audience, if you have any thoughts on this topic, feel free to drop them in the comments. And so one thing you said, Jack, that I wanted to kind of circle back to while we talk about, you know, the pride that is associated with it. It's like, you remember when they had that campaign? I don't even know if this campaign is still going on, but they used to have this thing where, I don't know if it was free taxis or what, but they used to have like these designated taxi drivers that would, you know, be on Front Street specifically. And you could just go to them and just, you know, get a ride home. It was
free,
believe
right?
it is. Or was like,
I thought it was free. I could be wrong, you know, the economy's different, times have changed.
Yeah.
But I do know that they used to have these sign up at Paget Lights. They used to have a poster, not really poster, but you know, one of these signs up there for I can't remember, the DEDC or something like that. I can't remember the actual.
You gotta use the words because I don't know what you're trying to talk about.
I can't remember the organization, so I only know the I'm trying to
describe the organization. Describe what you're talking about.
But the person that the organization that actually put together the taxi drivers and designated drivers. So I believe it is still available. I could be wrong. But I heard a commercial like a month ago. Oh, CADA, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, you're going to the thing. You gotta. I'm like, where's she getting the answer from? Yeah, so there it is. It was called CADA. Yeah, I don't know what it stands for, so if y'all could tell us what it stands for, because I didn't even know the organization. I just thought it was a great idea, primarily because I am someone who appreciates the concept of a designated driver, like someone who's willing to, like, you know, take the L for the team, because it is an L, right? When you really think about it, like, okay, if we're all going out and we all want to have drinks, we all want to have a turn up time, and one person is deciding to say, okay, I'm not going to drink. I'm going to have like 1 or 2 drinks and then I'm done. That person's like the real MVP, because the rest of us are getting plastered, smashed. And that person's like sitting here watching us in their soberness while we're acting up.
Funny story. My sister is typically my designated driver, right?
Right.
And I remember going to a party and I was helping with something in the back. Like somebody was just like, hey, can you help me? So like, absolutely. So I was helping set up, moving stuff around. And then I went back and I actually had my friend who had my drink. So I went to grab it and they were partying. And that was my first drink. I was about to take a sip and it was like, pick up something, anything.
That song, Yeti something.
And my sister came running across and I was just like, so who wants a free drink? Because I'm pretty sure my sister's been drinking to be running up and down in the club like this. I was just like, trash. And I was just like, you know what? She deserves it. Go have a good time. Yeah. But yeah, I was like, there's absolutely no way we're both going to be hot going up the road. Nope. No.
That was very responsible of you, Jackie. Very responsible of you. I could definitely say
sometimes I'm responsible. Sometimes.
So you picked a great moment to be responsible.
I was like, ooh, okay, yep, so this isn't happening. But even
absolutely not happening.
That's why I like to, you see me at Taste on Fridays, I like to get there early because then I can sip my drink, take my time, there's no rush. And then if I feel myself starting to get a little buzz, I've got some water, I chill, and then I'm like, got 5 hours to sober up before I have to get it. And
because you mentioned prep earlier, and I wanted to see, you know, if the audience has any like prep tips, because I feel like sometimes people get wide open because they haven't eaten. And so like they're not even able to get to a better state where they can actually make a more responsible decision and recognize, okay, maybe I have had too much to drink, so I should not drive. But you know, like you said, when you're wide open, like you don't
There's
really care.
no logic. There's zero logic.
You can't rationalize. And I think sometimes people feel like a sense of pride around the fact that they were able to get home intoxicated, or they were able to start driving their vehicle intoxicated. And I'm just like, that is the most warped idea ever. Yes, I've been there myself. It's not the best experience.
It's definitely embarrassing
really
the next day.
When you really think about it, you're like, I really did that. Huh.
I've done it. I've absolutely been like, guys, how did I get home? And they're like, you rode or you drove. And I'm like, yo, I have no real friends. And they're like, what? I'm like, how did you do that? And I'll find out that I've actually called somebody and been on the phone with them. And I feel sorry for whoever that is, because typically my drive homes are like a karaoke session. So I was probably belting some R&B.
And they were just like mute. Turn your volume. It's probably like 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, and we're trying to run out.
Oh God, 3 o'clock in the morning. That is too late.
Exactly.
No,
so imagine if someone got a call from you at some hour when they was like on their decline and you're over there just belting away.
God, no, I can't stay out past 11.
Okay, well, back in your other days, your younger days.
Yeah, I catch. That's because I was leaving the house at 11. That's it. No, I can't do that no more. Anytime after 9:30, I catch an attitude. I'm like,
not the attitude.
Yeah, I like to be here.
So coming back to the prep conversation, Jason says foundation is key. So have you had any moments where you've kind of like, you've known you didn't have a foundation and you were just like, and you still went ham, like you still drank a lot? Be honest, transparency moment.
Oh, absolutely. I used to have this phrase up until about a couple months ago where I'm like, eating's cheating. You know, because your tolerance is too high when you go.
Eating's cheating. I was like, what's she talking about? No, it's not.
Right. Sorry, that was a steal. I used to think like, all right, I don't want to spend over a certain amount of money, and my tolerance is high, and I wasn't always excited about like people like your tolerance is high. And I'm like, yeah, it's expensive, it's irritating. Like, how do I change it?
That's expensive.
So I used to have this thing where it's like eating's cheating, because like, why am I eating all this food for a foundation when the purpose of me going out tonight is to get drunk? And I just feel like that's just making it harder.
Because you already have high tolerance and you ate some food.
And I'm just like, here we go, $100 down the drain. And I don't like, I know people are just like, let other people buy you drinks. Sometimes they come, like people buy you drinks come with like agreements, and I don't want this attachment.
We don't want attached.
I'm like, no thanks, I'm fine, and I'll pay. So yeah, I used to be like, yeah, I want to feel nice, and I don't want to have to wait in line for 30 minutes to get a drink, and I'm gonna double fist because I know that in order for me to get another drink, it's another 30 minutes. So I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna just have like a salad so I could like deal with the hunger rumbles in my stomach, or something light, or soup or whatever. But I wasn't having no macaroni and fries, and like I wasn't doing a massive base because
I know, look at us. Like, I need a meal before we even start to drink. And so I want to come back to this comment you mentioned earlier. Deborah Leah Joe Bell says, Jackie said they act like a toddler, stubborn and bullheaded. Never thought about it that way. And to be honest, I don't think any of us really thought about it that way, because it's like a normal experience. Like when people act like that, you're like, oh, they're just drunk. Like, oh, we just brush it off so easily.
And I used to be the designated driver a lot. And it was always for like friends, like my and they're usually like bigger than me. So can you imagine me trying to herd all my tall drunk friends that are all besties that are like, the party's not over, we're going, like,
and then just carrying
open.
you.
There's nothing open. We shut town down. Like, there's nothing open. We can't even go ambiance because it's 6:30. Like, town's absolutely closed.
Tomorrow.
Like, we can go breakfast, but you gotta wait half an hour.
All right, because they don't start open until like 7, 8. Like,
right.
I was doing at 6:30.
We were probably at like the dock, just trying to get everybody to get in the car. Get in the car!
That definitely sounds like a toddler experience. Like, because when they're not ready to go, they're like trying to run away from you, and they're like, what are
And
you doing?
toddlers can't walk properly, so they're like, it's like they're going through a landmine. Like, come on, put it
This
together,
visual
kids.
you are painting for us is hilarious because it's like but it's like grown people, right? So it's
right.
Like,
so you gotta understand that I'm 5'5", and they're like 6. Like my shortest friend is like 6 foot, and then it goes up to 6'7", and so it's between me chasing all of them and like pulling shirts, and they're trying to cross the street. And I'm like, yo, cars are still coming. Like, I need everybody to just, all right, single file, grab a buddy, hold hands.
lock arms.
Teacher mode.
That's a big teacher mode if I ever seen one. So one thing I also wanted to kind of talk about is like the pride that kind of exists in families, right? Because you sometimes see in like even certain social settings, like, whether it's a Connie game, a cup match, whatever the case may be, like people will like really go hard for drinking and like be like super proud of it. So I wanted to know, has the audience or yourself, Jack, experienced like this whole family pride around alcohol consumption? Or is it just like, like what's your family's history with alcohol?
My mom doesn't drink at all, and my dad drinks 1.5 glasses of wine, if that. That's his thing. He's only having 1.5 glasses of wine, and that's only on like Christmas, and that's like his limit. He is not going over that, and he sips it. That will last him the entire day. Now his children, it's only me and my middle sister that drink. And we didn't always pay attention. We would just be like talking, and we'd be like, oh, a bottle of wine's done. Dad, can you open up another bottle? And he'd be like, yeah, sure. And we don't pay attention because we're home. Right. We only pay attention to, I only pay attention to how much I'm consuming when I'm not home, I guess, because I'm already home. Like, I'm safe. Like, if I want to go
pull you over for walking under the influence to the bear, but it might be okay.
Who's there? There's nobody there. It's in the mirror. Just stop and be like, you need to pull it together. Yes, ma'am.
It reminds me of that Issa Rae where she has those moments in Insecure where it's like herself checking herself. That's exactly what it would be like.
I still haven't seen an episode.
We're not even going to go there. We're discussing alcohol. We're not even going to go.
No, but when I'm out, like, I pay attention to how much I'm drinking typically. I'll be like, all right, excuse me, I've already had 3 glasses of wine. I'm not doing anymore. Oh, why are you being like this? Because I have to, like, function. I still have to, sober up, get home, like, And I've gotten to the age where I don't want to deal with hangovers. Like, I never got hangovers when I was younger, so getting up and doing it all over again didn't hurt. It hurts now.
I feel like, so see, that's the thing. I feel like that's a misconception too for us. I feel like it did hurt. We were just better able to deal with the hurt. Like when you're as your age and you just don't want to feel like that feeling you don't want to deal with. I remember being hungover and it did not feel great, but I just kept it moving because I'm in my 20s. Like this is a part of, that decades, but I absolutely remember feeling the hangovers. I just don't want people, you will feel the hangover no matter how old you are. It's just as you get older, your tolerance for that hangover has decreased.
I guess. Yeah, you're right. Because I'm sitting here and I'm just like, I don't know. I just go straight to work.
You would have headaches. You'd probably drink more water. You'd probably try to eat a good bit of
food. You know what
it
was?
Soak up the alcohol.
Most nights I would have to sober up because I'm the, child wrangler, whatever.
Wrangler.
I had to bring all the children in. I'm like, hey.
One thing I want to touch on, which I don't know if it was a thing when we were younger, and I say younger, like 18 to 20s, the whole tip certification, because I've only just recently got into the space around like, managing a bar and making sure, your people are tip certified. But a part of being tip certified is to be able to recognize when someone has reached their limit. And I think that's really dope for it to be there. I don't know if it was always a thing, because like I said, I never was in that that space beforehand. But I feel like if nothing else, those people definitely, I can't say all, but I've seen some bartenders where they've like cut people off, where they like pour water into someone's cup that's like gone off their limit, or like soda water, so that the person thinks they're drinking alcohol. Because that's an interesting beast too. When you think you're drinking alcohol, it ain't nothing in there. Nice little placebo effect.
Excuse me. I have seen where I've asked for water and then like, Jackie, you haven't even had a drink tonight. And I'm just like, well, can I get a water with it? And they're like, oh my God, you're going to be back here complaining, but whatever. So they give it to me. But I've seen where people just like, I've given people water and they've slapped it out my hands. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'll go get you another drink. And I've gotten it in a smaller cup with the drink straws to disguise it. And that's my new trick to get people to drink water when they're too like hot, because you can differentiate what's water, because they'll give you the oversized plastic cup with the big plastic straw, and then your actual drink in your cocktail is in the smaller cup with the little black straws or the white and red straws. So I've gotten to the point where I'm like, hi, can I get in a small glass with little straws, water and roses? Yes, perfect, thanks. And I'll give it to them. And they're like, I'm like, here's your vodka, water, roses. And they're like, I didn't order this. I'm like, yes, you did. Here you go, drink it. And because in their head, they're like, well, it's another drink. I'll drink it. You know, if you don't waste alcohol. And I'll go chugging water.
And that's another interesting thing too, right? Saying we don't waste alcohol. Because I feel
waste
like
alcohol all the time.
That's what also has perpetuated this idea of excessive consumption. Because it's when I heard to say that drinking alcohol is a bad thing, because Jackie and I do love a good adult beverage. However, the excessive consumption is kind of where the line gets a little gray, and we start to see just bad behaviors.
You know what I think? You know what it is, right? Everybody's excited for shots, yeah, another round, shots, and because it hasn't hit them yet, they don't think that it's gonna hit them, so they like, take more. They're like, why hasn't it hit me yet? And then they all hit you at once, and you're like, oh geez, we're about to go on this roller coaster ride, and I just wanted to be on the teacups. Like,
yo, that's like legit when it happens. Like, it's legit. I'm like, I'm cool with the teacups. Like, yeah, this is great. And then when it turns. And so, fun fact, just a slight sidebar. I've been watching I watched the documentary on Travis Scott about Astroworld. And it was a theme park in Houston that got knocked on, and he got it, rebuilt, whatever the case may be. So that's why his album was called that. But just in the documentary, they have like the videos of him like on like the big like roller coasters and stuff like that, as well as like the kiddie roller coasters. And you just saying that it's like that is legit it. Like, I just want to be in the teacups in Disney World, just spinning around, waving at my mom, and then somehow I end up on the monster roller coaster, and I wasn't told I was to get on the ride. I wasn't told I was to get on the ride.
And so I remember I've actually matured. That's crazy. To the point where I tell people, hey, so I could take 3 shots right now, and I'll sip my drink, but then you can't have any more shots with me for another like 45 minutes, because I want to see how I react to these. And if you don't listen to me, I will drink my drink, and then like I'll drink a good bit of my drink, and then now that becomes my
Oh, you drink just put shots in
cup.
Drink?
No, like I'll pretend to take it. I hope nobody that drinks with me is watching. I'll pretend to drink it, and I'll spit it back in my cup. They absolutely are. And then I'll drop that bottle in the trash, and I'll ask for a new one. Because I tell people, I'm like, no, you're gonna waste your money. Like, I'm not at that point, because I want to know how this. Because who's gonna take care of me? I'm the one that takes care of everybody. So who wants to take care of me? That's already high energy. Like, you'll want to see me running on the field saying, like, no. I don't want to try and do backflips anymore. That was for when I was 20. A whole
decade ago. We're beyond that at this point.
I just want to be that drunk person that's just like, where's the mic? I'm singing to everybody. And I have my wine in my hand and my bad karaoke singing.
You're great. What are you talking about? Which is
karaoke. You can't be great at karaoke. You have to deliberately just perform.
I don't know. We'll have to do a karaoke night, because I honestly have not seen. I haven't seen you live. I've seen your clips. I've seen the after.
I perform. It is such a good time.
We love to see it. And so I actually, I don't know, Jack, where did you want to take this conversation as we wrap up? I see we have a comment, but I wanted to get your thoughts on where we want to go.
What do you mean?
Around the topic of the pride of alcohol tolerance and excessive consumption.
I just think that everybody just needs to take their time when it comes to drinking and see what their tolerance actually is. Not go past it and be like, yo, I am too far gone. Like, do you know your limit? Because I now know my limit. And I really want to have this conversation to see if people are interested in learning the limit, or they just want to go full throttle and just feel the pain the next day. Because I know that I can comfortably have, and this is probably still weird, I can comfortably have 10 shots. No, I say, because it's usually Hennessy. I could do 7 shots of Henny, 10 shots of tequila. And this is not only saying like this, is separate situations. And then I can have at least 2 bottles of wine. Or if I'm doing shots, one. Like I know what.
But these are all individual instances, because I feel like Anika the Shield's like, wait a second, what?
So if I'm doing tequila, I can do 10 shots. If I'm doing Hennessy, I can do 7 shots, and that's just for shots. If I'm doing wine, and that's if I'm drinking it with wine. If I'm drinking it with a lesser drink,
like a beer.
If I'm doing like a beer or a Summersby, like a cider, those have low percentages, so I can probably have a 6-pack of those and these shots and still have like room for more. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like that I have a high tolerance, because you hear how expensive that is. Do you know how much shots cost in Bermuda? Depending on what bar you're at.
6 or 7, yeah. Definitely that. I agree, Anika. 7 to 10 shots and 1 to 2 bottles of wine. You know your Bermudian man. I absolutely agree with that.
But this is spread out through hours. This isn't like, all right, so I have 2 hours to consume all of this. I'm talking about like
that's like alcohol poisoning.
No, like no way. I could never. That's like a whole day. Like that's from like lunchtime through dinner.
Another disclaimer: Jacky doesn't do this often. This is just her overall. Jacky knows herself. She's very self-aware, so she knows what her limit is, and she knows what length of time that has to go over. Me personally, I honestly don't know my limit, so I don't try to test it. I think when I was younger, I would like push the limits, but I didn't even remember what I would push the limits with back then. So I definitely I just know when I'm feeling nice. To me, that's my sign to say, okay, it's time to dial back. Only because at that point, it's either you ask yourself a question: do I want to go more or not? And usually
and I typically don't.
Yeah, and usually depending on how you're feeling, you might just try to.
Now I'm very happy to have my little 2 glasses of wine over my 4-hour span, and that just leaves it space and room, like a margin. For if somebody shows up, they're like, oh my God, Jack, I haven't seen you in so long. I can't stay for a drink, but do you want to do a shot? And that leaves room for that to come and go. But I would absolutely not chase it with my wine. I chase it with, hi, can I get a water and roses with 2 small straws? So people think that I am still drinking, so I don't get water shamed.
On that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with our Feel Good Vibe of the day, which is trivia time with Terri. So make sure you do not go anywhere.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to this episode of Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert. And if you're just joining us, today we talked about the top winter vacation locations for us to travel to, as well as the pride of alcohol tolerance and excessive consumption here in Bermuda. We're getting ready to have our feel good vibe of the day, which is trivia time with Terri. I'm going to be asking Jacky 3 trivia questions, and you have an opportunity to try to beat her. We're going to warm you up. If Sherry in the audience, we'll definitely warm you up for the daily hour a little bit later. So, Jack, are you ready?
I hope so. Do I get like a...
You can't call no friends. Okay, I can
hint?
give you a hint. I can give you a hint.
Like
I can give
what?
you a hint.
What'll be?
If it's okay, so this is that don't look right. That don't look like the real hint. I'm just gonna ask you the question. You might get this. Like,
Okay,
who
maybe.
plays Cher Horowitz in the movie Clueless? Or Horowitz?
I don't know these lots of real names.
Someone has to know her real name. I'm gonna give you. Okay, it starts with an A. Her first name, and her last name starts with an S.
Doesn't help me at all.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so look, the audience got it. You didn't get it, Jack.
Oh, thank you.
Alicia was out. Man, you didn't know her name. You didn't know her name. That's interesting.
Her name is Cher.
Okay, her name is Cher. Whatever.
If people end up like even
But we don't have too much
Hermione.
time.
I call her Hermione. I don't call her by her real name.
Oh my god. I'll do better with you on that. We'll take that offline for sure. In Avengers Age of Ultron, who creates the villainous Ultron? He was the smart. He's played by Robert Downey Jr. The character is played by Robert Downey Jr. in the Avengers.
That's Iron Man then.
Yeah, that's the person.
Okay, Iron Man.
Who created? She said that's Iron Man though. Okay, Jack.
Tony Stark.
Yes, Tony Stark. Absolutely. Yep. And then last one. I think you'll definitely get this one. The audience might get it as well. Or should get it as well. What Spike Lee film sees a pizzeria destroyed by a mob? Spike Lee.
Somebody destroyed a pizzeria?
In Spike Lee's movie. It's a drama musical. According to this card, which I don't know if that's a real thing, but whatever. Okay, you lost to Anika the Shield. Sorry, Jack. To the right.
I've never seen that, I don't think.
You haven't? Okay. We will sort you out. Absolutely, we'll sort you out. Well done,
That's
Sherry.
crazy. I'm gonna have to go check because maybe I have seen it, but I feel like I've seen Spike Lee's movies.
I'm gonna sort you out on that.
Do I get my black card removed?
No, it's okay. It's fine.
Okay.
We'll take that offline.
I was more nervous about that. I was just like, but don't take. Oh, she took it.
Sorry. I was trying to give it to you, Jack. But on that note, we hope that today's Feel Good Vibe of the Day has you ready to make it a great one. Thank you so much for watching and engaging with this episode of Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pete's House and Aliana's Restaurant. We trust we'll see you tomorrow for more Feel Good conversations. Until the next episode, peace and have a good day, Bermuda.